Head-turning fragrances. Fragrances that have the type of sillage and aroma that when you walk by somebody, it just makes them go, damn, what the hell is that he's wearing? In this video, I've got 10 of those fragrances that, based on my experience, definitely do that. And there are some pretty good suggestions for you as well. Let's talk about them. Stay tuned. This one, some will say is played out, but there's no denying what this fragrance is capable of when it comes to turning some heads and garnering some really positive attention. The original Invictus from Paco, Rabanne. That's right, the bubblegum fragrance. It's powerful, it's super long lasting, it's sweet, aquatic bubblegum. And it's such a head turner that it's one of the more heavily replicated openings in men's fragrances in the designer market, because this just works. It's been around for a long time now. Yes, it's very youthful. This is more along the lines of a young man's fragrance because of the heavy, playful sweetness and aquatic nature, very fresh. But at the same time, it don't matter what age you are, man, woman, or child. When you put this one on, at least in my experience, it puts out a really big scent bubble around you. Really beautiful aroma that has a very strong compliment factor. Many, many times over the years that I have worn this fragrance, I've had people stop me or ask me when I walk by what I'm wearing because, ooh, I smell good. So I had to start the list with one that's done it for me more times than almost every fragrance. Paco Rabanne's Invictus. Doesn't get talked about much anymore. Like I said, some people will say it's played out, but not me. This stuff's still a damn good head turner. Next, this might be the most versatile, fresh fragrance on the market. And I'll be damned if people don't like the way this thing smells. Elysium Parfum Cologne from Roja Parfums. Yep, there's a few niche fragrances in this list because they need to be in this list. Man, bona fide head turner. When you wear this one, especially in that first 2 to 3 hours when people can really smell you, and you walk by and they get a little whiff of the aroma that's following you with this on your skin, it's a conversation starter, at least in my experience. This fragrance, the juice that's inside this beautiful blue and gold bottle, is a conversation starter, because the only thing that smells like Elysium is Elysium or a clone of Elysium. It's a very specific citrusy, metallic, fresh fougere that just works magic. It's a magical elixir, and it had to be in this video because, based on my experience, they get a whiff of this, they want to know what the hell you're wearing, because you're going to smell great. You're probably going to be the best smelling person in the room, more than likely, when you wear an Elysium. This is one that's on the higher price point, don't get me wrong. If you're looking for a bottle, there's always a link down below to get it from Venba for a heavily discounted price, as discounted as they get anyways. Still pricey. But there are some other cheaper alternatives to it. There's some pretty good clones out there and inspired fragrances, but at the end of the day, if you want the best quality, you really want to get your money's worth on the scent profile and the quality, look no further than Elysium Parfum Cologne from Roja Parfums. You know, some of you may be expecting to see Sauvage on this because, you know, Sauvage is in the thumbnail. But Sauvage is actually not in the video because, based on my experience, Prada Luna Rossa Carbon has turned more heads for me than Sauvage. Don't get me wrong, Sauvage has turned many heads, but there's something about the way the lavender's done to smooth off those rough edges of the ambroxan, the coal, those mineral notes that are in here, that earthy quality, that darkness that it has, while still being like a lavender heavy shower gel type of scent. It just does so many things. It's a bit more refined than Sauvage in my opinion. It performs just about as well, and from what I've gathered over wearing them, this one gets more attention. Sauvage does too. This one gets the edge and the nod. because it's just an intriguing aroma, because it smells like Sauvage, but something's different. Because a lot of people know how Sauvage smells, but when you smell Prada Carbon, you think that's familiar, but something's different. And it's the way they have done that soapy lavender that they put in this fragrance, because nobody does soapy designer fragrances like Prada. I've said it many times before. And of all the Prada fragrances that I have that garner a lot of attention, none do it more so than Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. If you have this fragrance, you know exactly where I'm coming from. If you've been debating on getting this fragrance, try it, sample it. I had a sample before I got my bottle. They come in a little sealed pack that you got to rip open to get the little vial out. Strong possibility you're going to end up wanting a bottle, because this will bring you plenty of success. If compliments is what you're looking for, you're looking to turn some heads, Prada Luna Rossa Carbon, it'll definitely turn some heads. Powerful, and I mean powerful, spicy spearmint oil, minty gum, cardamom, woods, a little bit of incense. So many things going on with Amouage Enclave. And I said powerful because I mean powerful. You don't need a lot of sprays. There's no denying this bad boy. Has a beautiful, distinctive aroma that I haven't smelled in any other bottle. And the handful of times I have pulled this bad boy out and sprayed myself a few times. The last time, most notably at Lowe's, believe it or not, I had 2 people stop me and ask me what I was wearing. This stuff just works. Head turner's an understatement with Enclave. I have Meander, and Meander's a good fragrance, but Meander doesn't have the appeal to the masses that Enclave has, based on my experience anyways. Never had anybody pay me a compliment wearing Meander. Like I said, great fragrance. Nothing wrong with it. This one just has that unique conversation starting ability, because it smells so minty, so spicy, and so fresh all at the same time. It's so heavily nuanced and intriguing, you can't help but want to know what the hell that is you're smelling when you smell it. It's expensive, don't get me wrong, but sample it first. It's powerful, it's going to last a very long time for you. You don't need a lot of sprays. Straight up head turner with Amouage Enclave. You know, this particular flanker spawned its own series of flankers that has a bunch of head turners in their own rights, but none do it better than La Nuit de l'Homme. That's right. Even though it's not my favorite in its flankered line, because it's a flanker with a flankered line, there's no denying I've gotten more attention out of this than any of my other forms of La Nuit de l'Homme, and for good reason. It's familiar. At this point, a lot of people know this scent, and a lot of people love this scent. I was just having a conversation on Facebook Messenger with a buddy of mine that I used to work with, and he randomly brought this up. He's not tired of it. It's not played out for him. He's got about 30 bottles at this point in his collection too. I mean, I have much more than that, but even someone with 30 bottles, that's a pretty big collection for most people. To say this is still the wow factor fragrance in a 30 bottle collection is saying some things. Yes, it's been reformulated many times over the years for those of you enthusiasts that are watching this video, but those of you that are newer to the hobby of this fragrance world, this is kind of a must-have. You're looking to garner some really positive attention from the ladies. None do it better. I mean, individual experiences, there may be some fragrances that just work a little better for you, but the overall consensus, La Nuit de l'Homme is a lady killer. It just is, not just made popular by Jeremy for no good reason. The fragrance is that good. Been around for a long time, still sells a lot of bottles because it turns a lot of heads. The original La Nuit de l'Homme from YSL. Now, I do have more than one in this particular line from Ralph Lauren. It's one of the Polo lines. It's the Polo Red line. And Intense has garnered me a lot of attention over the years that I've had it. But to be honest with you, with the handful of times that I've worn the newest flanker, I think it's garnered me more attention in that short amount of time than Intense ever did altogether. I'm talking about Polo Red Eau de Parfum. You can see I've started to put a nice little dent in the bottle. The wife loves this one. My wife's best friend loves how this one smells. Her husband loves the way this one smells. My parents. One of my buddies at the gym, because I've worn this to the gym before. They all want to know, what in the world are you wearing that smells so good? Look, and the first time I sprayed it when I got it, I wasn't that impressed. I wasn't taken back. I didn't find it was different enough from the Intense because the cranberry is so prominent, but the ginger stands out a lot. When you give this one a minute, the ginger separates it. A lot of orange going on. A lot of the cranberry, the signature thumbprint of the Polo Red line. It's got the right amount of projection to leave a really good trail, and it lasts for hours and hours. It actually is one of those releases from last year that I know for me, I had to spend a little bit of time with. And like I said, I wasn't impressed at first, but after spending some time with it, and I mean, it's a great smell. I never did not think it was a great smell, but it just kept getting me more and more positive attention. And I gotta say, if you're looking to turn some heads, Polo Red EDP is underrated for doing just that. Nobody's given it the type of love that, at least in my experience, it seems to deserve. For me, it deserves the praise as being a straight up head turner, because it's what it's done. Don't knock it until you try it. Sample it. Dillard's, Macy's, all those different places, they carry Ralph Lauren Polo. Very, very easy to try this one and sample this one for yourself. Bring your girl with you or walk by several girls and just see what happens. Another bona fide head turner with Polo Red Eau de Parfum. Now, every time I'm dressed to impress, there's one particular fragrance that is my go-to. It's the first fragrance I think of. Special events, suit and tie. You got to smell just as good as you're dressing. And with Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme, that's exactly the case. And now I'm not going to say it's every single time I wear it this happens, but more times than not, somebody wants to know what the hell I'm wearing. And it's usually right after I walk by them or right after I walk up to them and shake their hand, because this is another one that's a great conversation starter, because it's very fresh, aromatic lavender that hits you up front, but then there's this warm spice and woodiness that just follows right behind. The way it's blended, and this is another one that's very nuanced and has a strong warming effect on my skin, and it just smells like money. You know, a lot of you know, like my mom's friends, for example, have asked about this one, and a lot of guys want to know what the hell that smell is, because it just smells expensive. You smell like money when you walk up wearing this one, especially if you're dressing the part. You're dressing to impress. You have Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme on. It's just a conversation starter. What the hell is that? Man, that smells good. Get a sample. There's always a link in the video description if you want to get a sample, if you're ready for a bottle. Comes with a free gift by using the link. This fits the video because that's just what it does for me. It's a head turner. It sparks conversation. People want to know what the hell I'm wearing. It deserves the praise. You should try it if you haven't. Zaharoff Signature Pour Homme. Now, obviously, a lot of blue fragrances could fit into this video, because a lot of blue fragrances have turned some heads for me, have gotten me a lot of positive attention, good compliments. But there's one in particular that really does it for me every time I wear it. Now, I strictly wear it in the summer, but it's powerful enough to wear year-round if I really wanted to. It's from Bvlgari. Bvlgari Aqua Atlantique. One I have not talked about since the summertime because, like I said, I wear it in the summer. But man, does it work, and it smells great. A much, much fresher, more aquatic version of Dylan Blue is kind of how you can look at this one, Versace Dylan Blue. This is better than Dylan Blue. Now, the elephant in the room on some of these blue fragrances, I see it a lot in the comments. I see a lot of people talk about it on other social media platforms, Facebook groups and stuff like that. This rotten eggs thing that people talk about. I've never experienced that with any of these blue fragrances. This Versace Dylan Blue, Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, Oh Intense seem to be some of the main culprits for people experiencing that. Now, I think that's strictly a skin chemistry thing. I had to say this on video while mentioning this because I've never experienced that. I don't know if it's just the way your oils are reacting with something in particular that these fragrances share, or what, but I've never experienced that. In my experience, especially with Aqua Atlantique, super marine compliment machine. It performs, it's a beast, it almost fills a room. Ever since, I mean, the dent that's been put in this bottle, a lot of those sprays have gotten me some pretty good attention. Especially the very first time I even wore it. I remember my boss asking me, what the hell am I wearing? Man, that smells very aquatic. I like that. What are you wearing? I remember that specifically from the first time I wore this fragrance. So if you experience the whole rotten eggs thing, I truly do feel sorry for you. But if you've never had anything happen like that with a fragrance, then it's kind of a must-have, in my opinion, because I love this fragrance. This is one of the best fragrances money can buy for the warmer weather, in my opinion. Definitely the best blue fragrance for the summer, and one that absolutely turns some heads, should not be overlooked. That's Aqua Atlantique from Bvlgari. Now, when it comes to the sweeter, nuttier fragrances, you know, there's a lot of fragrances that'll turn some heads. There's a lot that can fit right here in this video, but I didn't want to flood it with sweet. I didn't want to flood it with blue. I kind of picked the best of the best, on my experiences anyways, to discuss with you guys. And 1 Million Lucky from Paco Rabanne, one of the best when it comes to sweet fragrances, turning some heads. Because to be honest with you, I haven't really smelled anything that smells exactly like 1 Million Lucky. There's things that share some similarities to it, but the way the hazelnut and the honey and everything is done with this, with the 1 Million DNA, it's got just the right amount of projection and sillage. You're going to have a nice bubble following you, a nice little trail, and it's going to last 8+ hours. You know, I get around, 9-10 hour range from this one, which is way more than enough. It's a straight up beast, and it's another one that's a great conversation starter, because that hazelnut thrown in there with that sweetness really kind of gives it a little bit of extra character that other sweet fragrances don't necessarily have. I'm not saying others don't have their own character, but this one has a distinctive character with that hazelnut. Definitely one that all ages can pull off, in my opinion. It's definitely sweet and playful enough for you young guys if you're looking for a real head turner. 1 Million Lucky. For you guys in your 30s and 40s that are looking for something maybe not so serious because you wear a much more, masculine fragrance to work every day, and you want something a little bit more casual and playful that's really going to get you some positive attention. 1 Million Lucky. It's tried and true. It had hype a few years ago for good reason. It still deserves the hype. It's a damn good fragrance, and it definitely turns some heads. Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Lucky. Last but not least, I had to include a cheapie in this video as well. A cheapie that's just a straight up head turner for me. And you can find them on a regular basis, 50 milliliters for $20 at Marshall's. I see them pop up all the time. I've got 3 bottles now, 250 mLs and 100 ml. I'm talking about Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Together. This is not the longest lasting fragrance, but for the few hours that you're going to have it on your skin, man, it's out there. It's loud. It's synthetic, but it's a damn good smell. It really is. It smells like, as the color would fit, Invictus Aqua mixed with YSL mixed with First Instinct, the original. Kind of an amalgamation of all three put together. Very strong sillage, very, very strong. Puts out in that first 2 hours. Only goes about 5 hours on my skin. But if you're not going to be somewhere more than 5 hours, this is a head turner. Like I said, especially in that first 2 to 3 hours. Man, I'm going to spray it again. I want to smell it again. This is some good stuff. I've talked about this one many times on the channel before. It was my vote for Cheapie of the Year in 2020 because this is a 2020 release. If you see this one out at the rack stores, give it a chance. Give it a chance, especially if you're looking for something fresh, nothing too serious. That's just a compliment getter. That's just one of those fragrances that when you walk by, somebody is bound to say, "Ooh, that smells good. What is that?" 20 bucks will get you there. Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Together. Well, obviously there's a lot of fragrances that could have went in this video, but I really wanted to hand pick the 10 that, based on my personal experiences, have gotten the most attention, fit the video topic. Of course, I can't take credit for this video topic, my buddy Justin, Stay Fresh Productions, I saw his video yesterday about it, and it just sparked an idea. I thought, you know what, that's a great video idea. I'd love to do my picks and do my version of that video. And here it is. I put it out for you guys. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. What fragrances garner you the most positive attention? What's a straight up head turner for you? When you walk by somebody, you've had people stop you and ask you, what are you wearing that smells so good? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of these, you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.